She thought you would chase her. She thought you would break. She expected you to wait, to beg, to prove yourself, because that's what most men do. But what happens when you do the opposite? What happens when you walk away and never look back? Let's be real. Women don't leave men they respect. If she walked away from you, it's because she believed she had the upper hand. Maybe she thought you were too available, too easy to replace, or too emotionally invested. That's the harsh truth. And most men, instead of standing their ground, fall right into the trap of proving their worth to a woman who has already decided to walk away. That's exactly what she expects, until you flip the script. See, the biggest mistake men make after a woman leaves is trying to win her back. They write long messages, ask mutual friends about her, watch her social media, or worse, show up when she's already moved on. That's what weak men do. And if there's one thing women can't stand, it's weakness. But here's where things get interesting. When you refuse to chase, when you act like her absence means nothing to you, something shifts. Suddenly, she starts questioning her decision. Suddenly, she wonders, did I misjudge him? Did I overestimate my value in his life? Because deep down, women crave what they can't fully have. And when you walk away without hesitation, without begging, without losing yourself, she feels the loss in ways she never expected. Most men have been conditioned to believe that persistence wins women over, that if they just show how much they care, she'll magically change her mind. But that's not how attraction works. The man who values himself over any woman, the man who can walk away without regret, is the man she will respect. And here's the kicker. Even if she doesn't come back, you win. Because the moment you walk away from someone who thought they were better than you regain power. You reclaim control, and you set a new standard for yourself. One where you are never an option, never a backup plan, never a man who begs. So if she walked away, let her. Just make sure she never expected you to do the same. Women are used to men chasing them. That's the game they expect. When she pulls away, she assumes you'll run after her, trying to prove your worth. But what happens when you don't? What happens when, instead of chasing, you disappear like she never existed? That's when everything changes. Here's the reality. Most men crumble the moment a woman pulls away. They start texting more, checking her social media, or trying to fix whatever went wrong. That reaction alone shows her that she has all the power. The more you chase, the less she values you. But the moment you vanish, she starts questioning everything. She was expecting attention, maybe even some emotional outburst. But instead, she gets silence. And that silence speaks louder than words. Because now, she has to deal with something she wasn't ready for, uncertainty. Think about it. Women thrive on emotional validation. Even if she walked away, she still expected you to be there, waiting, hurting, missing her. But when you vanish, she loses that control. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Did I make a mistake? Was I not as important to him as I thought? That's when the doubt creeps in, and that doubt is powerful. Imagine a man named Alex. He was seeing a woman who suddenly became distant. Instead of chasing or asking her what was wrong, he did the unthinkable. He walked away completely. No calls, no texts, nothing. A few weeks later, she sent a casual message, testing the waters. Alex didn't respond right away. He waited days, then replied with a short, neutral message. Suddenly, she became more interested. Why? Because Alex didn't play into her expectations. He flipped the script. Most men think disappearing means they'll lose her forever. But the truth is, the only thing you lose is someone who never valued you in the first place. And if she does come back, it's on your terms, not hers. So when she walks away expecting you to chase, do the opposite. Vanish. Because the man who walks away first is the one she never forgets. Respect is the foundation of attraction. If a woman doesn't respect you, she won't love you, she won't desire you, and she definitely won't stay loyal. The biggest mistake men make? Trying to earn respect by proving themselves. But in reality, respect is never given to the man who begs for it. It's given to the man who is willing to walk away first. When a woman senses that you're afraid to lose her, she automatically knows she has the power. That's when she starts testing you, pulling away, and seeing how much control she really has. And the moment you chase, you fail the test. She now knows she's the prize, and you're just another man trying to win her over. But when you walk away first, everything shifts. Now, she's the one wondering what went wrong, Now, she's the one feeling uncertain, questioning if she misjudged you. That's when respect enters the equation, because women only respect the man they cannot control. Take Chris, for example. He was dating a woman who started acting distant, canceling plans and giving excuses. Instead of asking what was wrong, Chris did something different. He completely pulled back. He stopped texting, stopped calling, and went on with his life. A week later, she messaged him, asking why he was acting cold. Chris simply said, "I don't waste time where I'm not valued." Instantly, her energy changed. She started making effort, reaching out first, trying to win him over. Why? Because Chris wasn't afraid to walk away. And that's the key. Women respect men who have the confidence to leave rather than the desperation to stay. Most men fear that walking away means losing her forever. But the truth is, if she leaves and never comes back, she never respected you to begin with. And if she does return, it's because your absence made her realize your value. Either way, you win. So stop chasing respect. Stop proving yourself. Instead, be the man who can walk away first. Because once she knows you're willing to leave, that's when she'll truly respect you. Nothing repels a woman faster than desperation. The moment she senses that you need her, that you're anxiously waiting for her text, or that your happiness depends on her, she mentally checks out. Attraction isn't built on words, it's built on energy, and desperation carries the weakest energy a man can have. Think about it. Have you ever liked someone so much that you overcompensated? Maybe you texted too often, planned too much, or showed too much excitement when she barely put in any effort. And what happened? She lost interest. Suddenly, she started replying slower, acting distant, and making excuses. Not because she found someone else, but because your desperation suffocated the attraction. The more you push, the more she pulls away. That's how it works. Now, look at the opposite situation. A woman is unsure about a man, but instead of begging for her attention, he goes silent. No long explanations, no chasing, just silence. Suddenly, she starts noticing his absence. She wonders why he hasn't reached out. She checks her phone more often, replaying their conversations in her head. The very man she was unsure about now has her full attention. Why? Because silence is powerful. Silence creates mystery. And mystery makes her curious. Most men think they need to do something to regain a woman's interest, but in reality, doing less is what works. When you pull back and say nothing, it forces her to feel the distance, and in that space, she starts questioning her own feelings. Does she miss you? Does she regret pulling away? Did she misjudge your value? Those thoughts wouldn't exist if you were constantly in her face, proving yourself. So next time you feel the urge to chase, to explain, or to seek closure, don't. Just let the silence do the work. Because while desperation kills attraction, silence revives it. Every single time. Let's be honest, most men play right into a woman's expectations when she leaves. She assumes you'll suffer, that you'll sit around thinking about her, that you'll wait for her to figure things out. And guess what? Most men do exactly that. They overanalyze, stalk her social media, and replay every conversation in their heads, hoping she'll come back. Wake up. That's weak behavior, and weakness is exactly why she left in the first place. If she walked away, she believes she has control. She expects you to be emotionally wrecked, questioning yourself, maybe even waiting for her return. And when you react that way, you confirm her belief that she was the prize and you were just lucky to have her. But imagine if you did the opposite. Imagine if, instead of looking broken, you looked completely unfazed. No sad texts, no reaction to her Instagram stories, no chasing, just silence. Now, suddenly, she's left wondering, wait, why isn't he chasing? Did he ever care? That uncertainty eats at her. Because here's the truth. Women want to feel wanted, but they respect a man who doesn't need them. And the only way to make her feel something is by showing her she was never the center of your world. Most men think suffering is inevitable when a woman leaves. But suffering is a choice. You either sit in self-pity, proving her right, or you take back control and make her question her decision. Here's what you do. Stop looking for closure. She made her choice. Accept it. Shift your focus. Improve your physique, your mindset, your finances. Cut her off completely. If she wants to know what's going on in your life, let her wonder. When you stop suffering and start thriving, she feels the loss. And by the time she realizes what she walked away from, you'll be too focused on yourself to care. So stop feeding into her expectations. Stop letting a woman's decision dictate your worth. If she thought you suffer, make her wonder instead. That's how you win. Most men don't realize this, but the moment you start caring too much about a woman, you lose all control. The more invested you are, the more emotional you become. And the more emotional you become, the easier it is for her to manipulate you. Women don't fall for the man who prioritizes them over everything else. They fall for the man who keeps them uncertain, the one who isn't predictable, the one who isn't emotionally attached to the point of weakness. Now, let's be clear, this doesn't mean you should be cold or disrespectful. It means you should never let a woman become the center of your world, because the moment she senses that you need her, she starts losing interest. Why? Because there's no challenge, no mystery, no excitement. Look at the men who get walked all over in relationships. They're always the ones putting in 100%, while the woman puts in barely 10%. They're the ones over-explaining themselves, begging for her time, tolerating disrespect. And why do they do it? Because they care too much. Now, look at the men women chase. They're the ones who could take it or leave it, the ones who are unaffected. They don't argue, they don't overreact, they don't need to prove anything. And because of that, women respect them. This is where most men go wrong. They think the key to winning a woman over is showing more affection, more attention, more validation. But in reality, the less you care, the more powerful you become. Not because you're playing games, but because you're showing her that your life isn't centered around her. So here's the truth. Caring less isn't about being heartless. It's about maintaining control. When you learn to detach from the outcome, when you stop obsessing over whether she stays or leaves, you become irresistible. Because at that point, she realizes something terrifying. She needs you way more than you need her. That's when the power shifts. And that's when she starts chasing you. Most men think silence is a sign of weakness. They believe that if they don't speak up, if they don't explain themselves, or if they don't constantly remind a woman of their presence, she'll forget about them. That's why they text, call, argue, and beg, because they're terrified of being forgotten. But here's the truth. Silence isn't weakness. It's power. And the men who understand this are the ones women can't stop thinking about. Why? Because silence forces a reaction. When you stop explaining, stop chasing, and stop engaging, she starts wondering, why isn't he reaching out? Is he over me? Did he move on? And that uncertainty is what makes her feel your absence. Weak men fear silence because they think it means giving up. Strong men use silence to control the situation without lifting a finger. Instead of wasting energy on pointless conversations, they let their lack of response do the talking. Instead of proving their worth, they allow the woman to feel what it's like to lose them. And let's be real, women are emotional creatures. They thrive on attention, validation, and reactions. That's why they test you, push your buttons, and even walk away at times. They want to see how much control they have over you. But when you meet her distance with silence, when you refuse to react emotionally, she starts to panic. Because now, she doesn't know where she stands, and that uncertainty is what keeps her thinking about you. Most men ruin this by breaking the silence too soon. They get impatient, start overthinking, and eventually cave in with a weak text or a desperate attempt to clear the air. And just like that, the power shifts back to her. So here's what you need to understand. Silence isn't about playing games. It's about sending a message that says, I'm not afraid to lose you. And once she realizes that, she's forced to reevaluate her entire position. So stop wasting words, stop explaining yourself, stop reacting emotionally, just go silent. Because when done right, silence isn't weakness, it's your greatest weapon. It sounds counterintuitive, right? The less you care, the more she chases. No, but that's exactly how it works when it comes to attraction. When you stop caring about her, stop chasing her, and stop worrying about her responses, you flip the script. Instead of her pulling away from you, now she's the one doing the chasing. Here's the reality most men don't realize. Women are drawn to what they can't have. When you put too much effort into trying to win her over, you make yourself too available. You let her know that you're always there, no matter what. And that, my friend, is when attraction starts to fade. But when you take a step back, when you stop acting like her presence is the center of your universe, she starts to see things differently. Now, she's the one wondering, why hasn't he texted me? Does he still care? The fact that you're not chasing her is what will spark her desire, because now she's no longer in control. She's the one who feels the distance, and that's when she starts to chase you. But most men fail at this because they think that they're playing it cool when they're actually just being passive. They avoid contact, but they don't have their own life or focus. They're waiting, hoping, and silently wanting her to chase them. That's not how this works. You have to stop caring and start living for yourself. A woman doesn't chase a man who's waiting for her. She chases the man who's living his life without her. When you stop caring whether she's there or not, you start living on your own terms. You become someone who is so busy, so fulfilled, and so content that her presence doesn't define your happiness. That's the kind of man who gets chased. The key here is to stop caring about her validation. You don't need her approval, her attention, or her affection to feel good about yourself. When you truly believe that your life doesn't revolve around her, that's when she starts to get curious. That's when she begins to chase. So stop waiting for her to make the first move. Stop needing her attention. Start focusing on your own goals, hobbies, and growth. When you do, she'll come running. Here's a harsh truth you need to hear. Sometimes a woman won't realize how valuable you are until you walk away. It's only when you leave that she starts seeing what she's truly lost. But the problem is, most men don't understand this concept. They stay, they beg, they try to convince her to stay with them, but that only weakens their position. You can't make someone see your worth by constantly reminding them. Women don't appreciate what they have until it's gone, and this is where men go wrong. They make the mistake of staying around, trying to prove their value, trying to make her see what she's missing. But by doing that, they only confirm to her that she can walk all over them. The truth is, if you're always around, if you're always available, and if you're always at her beck and call, she'll never feel the weight of losing you. She doesn't need to chase because she knows you're not going anywhere. But when you walk away, when you show her that you're willing to lose her, she's forced to look at your absence. She has to confront the reality that she could lose you for good. This is a psychological trigger that many men fail to use. They stay, hoping things will change. But the moment you leave, you trigger a reaction in her mind. Wait, I don't want to lose him. That's when she starts questioning her decisions, wondering what it was about you that made you walk away. She feels the void you left, and it makes her value you more. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about showing her that your value doesn't depend on her. You need to be the type of man who's willing to walk away and never look back. And trust me, when you do this, she'll start respecting you. She'll start wanting you back. But remember this, you only walk away when you've built yourself up. You walk away because you know your worth. You walk away because you understand that you're not the one who has to chase. You let her come to you. So if you've been sticking around, trying to prove yourself, stop, walk away. That's when she'll realize what she had. When a woman walks away, most men make the mistake of chasing after her, trying to prove that they're the right choice. They'll apologize, send gifts, or try to make her feel guilty. But here's the truth. You can't make her regret losing you by chasing her. The only way to make her regret her decision is by showing her exactly what she's missing. And that means stepping back, improving yourself, and living your life without her. If you want her to regret leaving, you have to show her that you're better off without her. You have to show her that you're not desperate for her validation and that your life is just fine without her in it. But here's the catch. You can't fake this. It's not about pretending to be indifferent. It's about genuinely becoming the best version of yourself. When you walk away and focus on your own growth, whether it's building your career, working on your fitness, or deepening your passions, she starts seeing the man she lost. She starts realizing that you were the one who had everything going for you. And when she sees that you're thriving without her, she'll start to regret ever leaving in the first place. Most men fail at this because they think the key to making a woman regret losing them is to keep the door open. They leave the possibility of reconciliation on the table, waiting for her to come back. But that's the mistake. The moment you show her you're not waiting around, the moment you show her that you've moved on and are focused on yourself, she starts feeling the loss. And here's the real kicker. She doesn't want to be the one who let you go. She doesn't want to lose you to another woman who can see your worth. So she'll begin to wonder if she made the wrong decision. She'll start missing the way you treated her, the way you made her feel, the way you were before she pushed you away. But you can't get there if you're still chasing her. Let her miss you by letting her see the man you're becoming. When she realizes she lost someone who was always going to be a prize, it'll be too late. So stop chasing. Start growing. Let her see the man she could have had, and let her regret losing you. Here's the most important truth you need to understand. She only realizes you were the prize when you walk away. It sounds harsh, but it's the reality that most men ignore. Women don't appreciate a man who is always there, always accommodating, always putting them first. It's not until you walk away that she sees your true value, and at that point, it might be too late for her. The moment you make her feel like you're the one in control, like your life doesn't revolve around her, that's when the power dynamic shifts. That's when she starts to see that you're not the one who needs her. She needs you. But most men don't get this. They stick around, waiting for her to change, to come back, to see their worth. They bend over backwards to prove they're worthy, but all they do is diminish their value in her eyes. When you walk away, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. You show her that you have options, that you're not afraid to lose her, because you have your own life, your own goals, and your own purpose. And when she sees that you're willing to walk away without hesitation, she starts realizing that she was the one who took you for granted. This is a key psychological shift that women rarely get until it's too late. It forces them to confront the reality that the man they once took for granted is now gone, and that absence makes her reflect on everything she had with you. The excitement, the mystery, the fun, all the things that now seem like they've slipped away. Here's the kicker. When you leave, you're not just walking away from her. You're walking toward your own life. You're stepping into your own power. And in that process, you become someone she has to chase. When she realizes she lost you, when she feels that void, she'll start coming back to you, begging for your attention. But by that time, the power has shifted entirely. She'll see you as the man who knows his worth, the man who is capable of walking away from what doesn't serve him, and that's when she'll want you more than ever. So remember, walking away isn't weakness. It's a bold move that forces her to see what she's truly lost. Be the prize. Walk away and make her realize it. Here's the hard truth. Women only chase men who don't need them. Let that sink in. If you're constantly giving, constantly chasing, and constantly trying to prove yourself, she'll never see you as the prize. The moment you stop needing her, and I mean truly stop needing her, that's when the attraction kicks in. And it's not until you walk away that she'll realize she took you for granted. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever walked away and seen her chase you back? Or maybe you've been the one who was left behind and couldn't understand why she didn't value you until it was too late. Drop your experiences in the comments below. I'll be going through them and personally responding because I want to connect with you. Let's have a real conversation about this because, trust me, there's power in walking away. So stop chasing and start living your life on your terms. That's when you'll realize you're the prize all along.